The full view. I'm Shante Yankee. So still with that suspected bomb blast that took place in Zimbabwe in Bulawayo this afternoon. Joining us now in studio is Professor David Moore from the University of Johannesburg's Anthropology and Development Department. We thank you very much for your time, sir. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. You know, essentially, what does this explosion mean for Zimbabwe, specifically looking at the time and Zimbabwe going into the polls in the next month or so?
Well, it was quite a shock. As far as I know, the last time we had bombs in front of elections was 1980, when the ZANU-PF headquarters was bombed on Manaka Road, and there were attempts on Mugabe's life. This one is crucial because it's the first election since Mugabe's abrupt departure. There are tensions within ZANU-PF, so immediately the rumors going around, oh, was this the Chwenga faction perhaps? Who would want to assassinate Mnangagwa? Would it be the ZANU-PF as a whole trying to create a system of chaos so the elections would be called off? And that would pave the way to, you know, at least perhaps a government of national unity. How on earth could a bomb get set in a well-securitized site? I mean, there should be dogs sniffing around for 24 hours in advance. If it was a hand grenade, how did someone get it in? So this creates a huge amount of suspicion in the context of an election process where there is a lot of suspicion already. So as Derek was saying a few minutes ago, you know, the special electoral courts will have to come in, the police will have to be seen as very, very neutral and fair. And of course, if we go back to the coup, the police were linked with the gang that didn't win, the G40 gang. So, you know, in a context of, as one of my colleagues from UJ was saying a few minutes ago, when you have a coup, things generally continue along militaristic and violent lines. So it's, in a sense, it was a shock, but perhaps we shouldn't have been shocked.
You know, is this an attempt? Can it be described as an attempt to actually kill the president? If you have a look at the proximity, and then again, it's unconfirmed. Then, like you just said, whether it was a grenade or whether it was a bomb.
No, of course we can't. You would have to find the person who detonated the bomb or who planned it, you know, to find these things out. As another colleague of mine was saying, if you really want to kill someone, you'll get a sniper to do it. So this can just create a sense of uncertainty. I think 3 people have been injured. Someone was telling me the Vice President Mohadi, and at least a couple of other people, and Chwenga's wife, apparently, who's in the hospital, and Mnangagwa went to visit her. So you know, it could have been just to create uncertainty. But now I only looked at the video on the small screen. Emmerson Mnangagwa was coming pretty close to it, right? And so I don't. It's all uncertain, and it certainly doesn't create a good atmosphere as an election is going on.
Let's talk about the security contingent, and specifically in the political climate that Zimbabwe does have, as you've mentioned, with having previous coups before, and then also hearing a statement via phone line from MDC's Nelson Chamisa saying, you know, it wasn't surprising to him. Over the past couple of years, political leaders continuously have attacks on their lives. Is there a need or a call for a stricter, a larger and a more secure security contingent in Zimbabwe, specifically around huge mass rallies such as this?
Well, I would think so, but certainly that's within the remit of the parties who are holding the rallies. Now, there has been violence in the MDC as well. Thokozani Kupe has been rather badly treated. And of course, we had the coup. And I think there were more people in the coup killed than we think, than we know about for sure. So there was certainly violence there. You know, whether the state should be responsible for the security of a party's rally, I'm not really sure. But I would think whoever is doing it from now on is going to be very, very careful. You will have sniffing dogs, you'll have careful screening of people. I mean, you know, often the way with rallies is the youth militia go through the streets and get as many people as they can, and the buses are rolling in to get all those thousands of people there, food, T-shirts, etc. Well, I would bet from now on they won't be that careless about who they invite to their rallies.
Mm-hmm. There were also reports there of, talks going on between MDC and the new ZANU-PF. Talks that were quite brusque, but seemed to be more or less peaceful. Could this not be also an attempt to try and harness a wedge between those peaceful talks that have been taking place recently?
Well, it could be. Look, there are all sorts of reasons for wanting to create uncertainty in the situation. It could be, some really, really wild scenarios have been going around, because apparently there was a bomb that went off, or a grenade that went off in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
Okay, so does the West want to create a situation where you have authoritarian rulers go into power easily, just like Paul Kagame all over, right? I mean, these are the rumors that are going around. You get really, really wild stories. And of course, with Trump running the West, anything can happen, right? He wants another North Korean dictator he could deal with. So if it was, I'm sure somebody in ZANU-PF will be saying, the MDC did it because they're trying to break up any nice conversations we've been having, or somebody who would want to slow down the election process, perhaps stop it because of the fear, and then have a government of national unity. In whose interest would that be? It's hard to say. Who is worried most about this election? It's the polls have had 40-something% for Mnangagwa in the presidential section of these harmonized elections, but there's been about 25-27% of people who will not say.
Yeah.
So I think people are now saying plus 50 easily for Mnangagwa. Maybe people voting differently for parliamentary posts, hung parliament. In whose interest is it really to create a situation of uncertainty? I can't really pinpoint it on anybody, and anyway we would be speculating. And remember, there are lots of crazy people around who just,
Indeed, we'll leave it there, and we'll leave it up to that speculation. We'll continue also to give you those updates, of course. Professor David Moore just giving us updates there with regards to that suspected, of course it hasn't been confirmed, alleged bomb blast that took place in Bulawayo, of course, but confirmations coming through that several indeed have been injured. The president of Zimbabwe himself, however, is safe. We'll continue to give you updates on that. Continuing with some